Toronto Mayor Rob Ford says it's time for Occupy Toronto to pack up and go.
Toyota recalls 550,000 vehicles for steering problems. Humber News starts right now.
Hello, it's Wednesday, November 9th. Welcome to Humber News, coming to you from the Broadcast Center here at the North Campus. I'm Lindsay Tuji. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Tom Kituku. Ahead on our show, we have all your news, sports and entertainment highlights, as well as your 5-day weather forecast. But first, Lindsay has our top story.
Toronto Mayor Rob Ford says the Occupy Toronto protesters have got to go. The protesters are dealing with the fallout of the camp's first suspected drug overdose. Humber News shot exclusive video yesterday of Toronto EMS removing a man from a tent and bringing him to a hospital via ambulance. Protesters have admitted the tent was a hub for drug use and are now cleaning up their act. Humber News reporter Caitlin DeCarey went back to St. James Park today to catch up with the occupiers.
This exclusive video was shot yesterday by Humber News. Toronto EMS workers removed a male suffering from a drug overdose. Today, the occupant of the tent, Phoenix, is left to clean up his belongings.
I mean, you can't tell people what to do, and they're going to do what they're going to do even if you tell them not to. And I'm rhyming, so I'm sorry.
Despite the disruptions, Occupy protesters, like Trey, remain hopeful.
The core contingent, I believe, is here for an occupation and for social and political change. I believe that there are a few people who come in who don't understand what's going on, who do see that we do offer free food, we do offer free supplies, free clothing.
However, Peter Holland, who works at the information desk, says the movement accepts all people marginalized by society.
Before Occupy Toronto started, there was a large homeless community here, and unfortunately, certain addiction, whether it be alcoholism or illicit drugs, have been present.
The camp plans to continue to expand. Despite the drug use that is present at Occupy Toronto, the core group of activists here want to make sure that their voice is still heard. Caitlin DeCarey, Humber News.
In other Occupy news, police in London, Ontario removed all tents of the Occupy protesters' encampment early Wednesday. This marks the first time authorities in Canada have forcibly cleared out a camp that is part of a nationwide protest. Several hundred people remained in the park despite the 6 p.m. deadline issued by the mayor on Tuesday. Meanwhile, in Vancouver, authorities are back in court this morning for a request by the city to take down the Occupy campsite. Vancouver Police Chief Jim Chu wants the 25-day-old camp taken down as soon as possible. This comes after protesters attacked police and firefighters on Monday, sending 2 officers to the hospital with bite wounds. Chu says the once peaceful protest has now been infiltrated by dangerous people.
The family of the cyclist struck and killed by a truck Monday made a statement to the media today. The statement was delivered at a makeshift memorial marking the spot where Jenna Morrison died. A family spokesperson described Jenna's life, saying, "From the first moment of meeting Jenna, people knew she was extraordinary. Jenna was a living source of inspiration. This is a time for mourning, not for blame." Morrison was 38 years old, married with a 5-year-old son, and expecting her second child.
A man is under arrest after police say he drove the wrong way on Highway 407 early this morning. Motorists called police after seeing the car going eastbound in the westbound lanes near the Valley Drive in Vaughan. Upper P caught up the vehicle and a 44-year-old man was charged with impaired driving. Police say the car hit several objects, including highway signs, before it was pulled over. This incident comes just 2 days after an elderly man died in a head-on collision while driving the wrong way on the QEW in Burlington.
Some good news for once for university students heading into the workforce. According to a new study, despite uncertain economic times, students are still experiencing high rates of employment and earnings. Miriam Khan has the details.
One of the biggest challenges facing university students is finding a job after graduation. University of Gulf Humber students have a reason to celebrate now that job rates for recent graduates are soaring. A survey conducted by the Ministry of Training and Colleges and Universities has found that employment rates for recent graduates are above 90%. According to the survey, students graduating in 2008 were able to find jobs within 6 months. Humber's Career Services Karen Fast says Humber is doing excellent in terms of employability, but students should not wait too long to apply for jobs.
You know, if you wait till you graduate, then you're looking at not finding employment probably until the end of the summer. So the sooner you get in, the sooner you apply, the sooner you find employment.
Media communications student Graham Scott says he's confident that the internship offered with the program will boost his ability to find work.
They're teaching us a lot of the stuff that we really need to know. We do have a internship the last semester of our last year, so I think that really puts us into a niche into what we need.
With the demand of students with social media skills rising, employers are searching more and more for recent graduates. And with Humber's employability rate being especially high, students have a pretty good chance of landing that job. Marian Khan, Humber News.
Torontonians should brace for a disruption in civic services in the new year. The QP President Mark Ferguson warns a strike could be in the cards if Mayor Ford goes ahead with his plans to reduce the city's labor costs. Over 8,000 outside workers in Toronto risk losing their night shift pay, among many other changes in their contracts, according to a copy of the proposal obtained by the Globe and Mail.
The future of one of Toronto's most renowned youth homeless shelters is on the line. The city's management committee will consider the relocation plans of Eva Phoenix today. The 11-year-old youth shelter and training center is currently leasing property slated for redevelopment. Eva Phoenix has housed thousands of the GTA's most vulnerable young people at 2 city properties in the Bathurst and King Street area.
A string of poppy donation bandits have put a damper on Remembrance Day. The latest news comes from Trenton, Ontario. A man and a woman faced charges after money was stolen from 2 poppy boxes at a restaurant. Meanwhile, a man has also been charged with 2 counts of theft after similar boxes were taken from convenience stores and a hotel in North Bay. Closer to home, the 26-year-old Toronto man, now facing charges in 2 thefts, was released on bail yesterday.
When we come back, we'll have more news from around the country and the world. Matt LaRue will have our sports, and we'll have your weather forecast with Colin Ellis.
The sun is shining and the weather is sweet. I'll have your 5-day forecast right after this.